Another day, another story. The last white rhinos. White rhinos are a species of rhinoceros. The term white in this context doesn't refer to their color, but rather is thought to be a mistranslation of the Afrikaans word wide, meaning wide, describing the rhino's wide mouth. There are two main species of white rhinos: the southern white rhino and the critically endangered northern white rhino. Southern white rhino. This species is found primarily in southern Africa, particularly in countries like South Africa, Namibia, Zimbabwe, and Kenya. Despite their name, southern white rhinos can range in color from gray to brown. They are the most numerous rhino species, listed as near threatened by the International Union for Conservation of Nature, IUCN. Northern white rhino. Unfortunately, this subspecies of white rhino is on the brink of extinction. As of September 2021, there were only two known individuals left, both females named Najin and Fatu, living under strict protection at the Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya. The last male white rhino, Sudan, died in 2018. Efforts were being made to save this subspecies through assisted reproductive technologies, but it was challenging. It's important to note that rhinos generally face significant threats due to poaching for their horns and habitat loss. Conservationists were expecting the death of Sudan, the world's last remaining male northern white rhinoceros. But when he died on Monday night, the 19th of March 2018, the news was met with international dismay. The 45-year-old male rhino had been living under armed guard at the Ol Pejeta Conservancy in Kenya. Earlier in March 2018, Sudan, the last northern white rhinoceros, developed an infection on his back right leg. He had already been suffering from age-related complications, and the infection worsened his condition. Now, only two female Najin and Fatu northern white rhinos remain at the conservancy, the last of their kind on Earth. They are mother and daughter. Neither can reproduce naturally. Even if they could, there are no males left for them to mate with. This makes the northern white rhino as good as gone, or, as scientists would call it, functionally extinct. Now, only two female northern white rhinos remain at the conservancy, the last of their kind on Earth. There was a major conservation push to help Sudan produce offspring. In one last-ditch effort to raise money for the rhino's care, conservationists created a Tinder profile for Sudan. Documenting Sudan and the species' decline was a major project for National Geographic photographer Amy VITALE. Today, we are witnessing the extinction of a species that had survived for millions of years but could not survive mankind, VITALE wrote in an Instagram post sharing the news. VITALE was with Sudan when the rhino was transferred from a zoo in the Czech Republic to the Kenya Reserve in 2009. It was thought that the African climate and having more room to roam would stimulate the rhinos to breed. Because he is past reproductive age and the two females are unable to produce offspring naturally, scientists were attempting to breed a new rhino in a lab. Sex cells were harvested from the living northern white rhinos, and scientists are hoping to use IVF to impregnate southern white rhino surrogates. The technology to pull this off is still being perfected. There's no guarantee that IVF will work, says Philip Maruthi, Vice President of Species Protection at the African Wildlife Foundation. And he adds that it's extremely expensive and could cost more than $9 million, which is 74 crore, 42 lakh, 81,100 rupee. This is a bitter lesson of species conservation, says Maruthi. He notes that, while protection is costly, the costs of recovery are even higher. In 2014, there were only 7 of the subspecies on the planet, all in zoos. By the summer of 2015, the number had dwindled to 4. A few months later, there were only 3. But when the northern white rhino population began to decline, it was lightning fast. In Sudan's last days, rangers at Ol Pejeta kept the 3 rhinos under 24/7 armed guard. Despite the species' precipitous conservation status, the animals face an intense threat from poaching. Like elephants, rhinos in Africa are aggressively hunted for their lucrative horns and skin. In 2013, another rhino subspecies, the western black rhino, was declared extinct. The eastern black rhino, numbering around 1,000, could be the next rhino species facing extinction. Conservationists are continuing to focus on saving this species in addition to the southern white rhino, a species numbering around 20,000. Thanks for watching. We will return with a new story.